can you give us any, example of a successful NGO, a corporate partnership that has created a great sustainable impact in our society?
I'll take our own example for that matter, Joel. All the questions that I just put out were questions that we internally also discussed with ourselves, how adaptive and how agile we are in terms of creating a new program. So I would take the example of our rural development initiative that we, at United Way Bangalore, we anchor, which is called as a Rural Rising Initiative, which initially started off as, looking at one Gram Panchayat and trying to address whatever the Gram Panchayat needs in terms of a set of activities put together. But we later realized that the perspective should be a little more on a holistic perspective. So we were able to talk to a corporate, and three things that we were able to do that we just mentioned, get a long-term commitment from our donors. And number two, look at rural areas in its holistic perspective. We don't go with the mindset that, we are only going to work on livelihood, or we're just going to work on, education in that sense. So what this gave us is, from a skill development perspective as well. Like, for example, I take Bhagapati's block for that matter in Chikbalapura district where we work in. We were able to stay put in that block for a period of 4 years, about to be 4 years right now. So what it gave us is a fantastic perspective of what this entire block requires and what the youngsters and women and children in this block requires in terms of sustainable development.
Correct.
Projects were built around that. It was not that we had a set of activities and then we got a donor, but rather we did a complete assessment of the block, got a government buy-in, got the perspectives of the government, also mapped what is the resources that are available on the ground, Correct. And then try to create activities around that. And we were able to have fantastic, progress in terms of skilling as well. There is a resource center that is being set up over there where different skills are kind of offered and aligning to what the youngster needs. That skill is already available over there, and there is already a job market that is opened, both in the government sector and the private sector. So the resource center acts as the mediator over there. So this was possible only because of two things, I would say, in conclusion. One, the corporate was ready to wait.
Okay.
The corporate and the donor was invested to understand what we are trying to do over there. And number three, there's a shared purpose that was created with the corporate, that the corporate understands that ultimately this is what the organization with Bangalore is trying to create over there. And they also made it their own vision and stay put with us for a considerable period of time. Otherwise, this whole thing would not have been possible.
Absolutely.
And there are multiple corporates. I'm not going to name the corporates here, but there are multiple corporates who chipped in and bought into this idea. And now we would say this entire block, we were able to move the needle in the right direction in most of the gaps that we identified, say, about 3 years back.
Correct.
Right? So this is probably one example of how this has to move forward.